Okay, so let's proceed the PYQ classes, and this class is all about what UPSC has asked in psychology optional. Especially, we will discuss Unit 1, that is Introduction of Psychology, and definitely these PYQ classes will be fruitful to all those who will watching me online and those for the offline. So, right before the starting of the class or before the joining of the class, this is important. You must have the previous year questions of this unit, which I have given you printed also, जो कि मैंने इस यूनिट के सारे क्वेश्चंस मैंने प्रिंट में आपको दे दिए. And by the watching of this print, you can predict few things. Like first thing that the dimensions which I have already categorized all the questions at here. सारे जो क्वेश्चंस है उसको हमने कैटेगरी में सारा डाल दिया हुआ है. Instead of that, these categories questions you can utilize for the development of your answers, because you will write 2 or 3 questions from one category. So definitely your perception start to develop for the writing of the other questions of the same categories. So this is again very fruitful for you, so that you should go must buy this PYQ classes. And these classes is again, I want to say, fruitful if you are going to approach or if you are going to write the answers of. Yes, good evening, Prachi. Prachi, this is PYQ class of Unit 1. सो एक ही क्लास में सारे पीवाईक्यू हर एक ही क्लास में एक यूनिट की पीवाईक्यूज डिस्कस करेंगे हम लोग, और इससे आपको लिखना आंसर्स आ जाएगा. बिकॉज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट कि कई बार हम पढ़े होते हैं, हमें पता है, हमारे पास नोट्स होते, बट उसको लिखना कैसे ये मुश्किल होता है. सो इफ यू विल सी इंट्रोडक्शन यूनिट, आई हैव क्लासिफाइड introduction unit, I have classified at here basically into 5 groups. हमने पूरे इंट्रोडक्शन की क्लासेस को 5 ग्रुप में डिवाइड कर दिया हुआ है. सो आपको पांचों ग्रुप्स के नेम जरूर मालूम होने चाहिए. द फर्स्ट यूनिट या फर्स्ट सेगमेंट, दैट इज अप्रोचेस. मींस इसमें सबसे पहले आपको अप्रोचेस ऑफ साइकोलॉजी के सारे क्वेश्चंस आपको मैं कराऊंगा. अप्रोचेस ऑफ साइकोलॉजी. देन वी विल डिस्कस application of psychology. Means it is the application of psychology. We will do all questions related to application of psychology. Then third, we will deal all the questions related to psychology as a science. So psychology as a science, psychology as a science के सारे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे. Then psychological trend in psychological trends in 21st century, that we also discuss. And then last is, that is psychology and its relation with other discipline. Psychology and its relation कैसे दूसरे सब्जेक्ट के साथ में ये रिलेटेड है. सो इसी 5 सेगमेंट में, मींस आई हैव डिवाइडेड इंटायर क्वेश्चंस इनटू 5 segment if you have print out of these notes. And one of the interesting phenomena I have also shared in my all groups. जितने भी साइकोलॉजी के ग्रुप्स हैं लगभग सारे ग्रुप में इसको मैंने शेयर भी कर दिया है. अब देखो इससे 2 बेनिफिट है. फर्स्ट बेनिफिट, अगर आपको नोट्स अभी तक नहीं होगा, means if you don't have the notes of units, या इफ यू डोंट हैव अ प्रॉपर नोट्स ऑफ दिस टॉपिक, तो अब आप क्वेश्चन से प्रॉपर नोट्स बना सकते हैं। सेकेंड बेनिफिट होगा कि अगर आपके पास नोट्स बने हुए हैं, उसको रीडिंग करो और देखो क्या सारे क्वेश्चन से सॉल्व हो रहे हैं या नहीं हो रहे। इफ यू आर कैपेबल टू सॉल्व ऑल क्वेश्चन जस्ट बाय डूइंग दिस, सो इससे आपका एक एडवांटेज या बेनिफिट ही होगा। इट मींस यू आर कैपेबल टू डू द क्वेश्चंस। चलिए अब हम लोग प्रोसीड करते हैं। फर्स्ट मैंने जो अप्रोचेस ऑफ साइकोलॉजी के सब टॉपिक्स भी मैंने मेंशन कर दिए। सी इसमें मैंने कौन कौन से अप्रोचेस मेंशन किए? स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म, फंक्शनलिज्म, बिहेवियरलिज्म, गेस्टाल्टिज्म एंड psychoanalysis, humanistic psychology, then cognitivism, biological approach, existentialism and multiculturalism. So I have well mentioned here all the 10 approaches of psychology from structuralism to the multiculturalism, right? So first of all, I think it is humble priority to you or humble request from my side. You must read all the questions what is mentioned at there. तो जिस किसी के पास में क्वेश्चंस हैं वो रीडिंग कर लें और मैं खुद एक बार रीडिंग करके बताऊंगा, इससे आप आइडिया लगा सकते हैं। इन अप्रोचेस में भी बाइफर्केशंस कर सकते हैं क्योंकि ये अप्रोचेस में तो 10 अप्रोचेस है। एग्जैक्टली किस अप्रोच से कौन सा क्वेश्चन पूछा गया वो भी एक आइडिया लग जाएगा। लाइक क्वेश्चन 1984 में आया, that is cognitive psychology is a scientific study of cognition, explaining that how our mental processes are organized and function. This question was asked in 1994 in 10 marks. अब obvious सी बात है cognitive approach का क्वेश्चन है तो आप इसके आगे मार्क्स कर सकते हैं। This question is related with which topics, that is cognitive approach. Question number 2, do you what do you mean by SOR paradigm? SOR paradigm भी cognitive psychology को ही कहा जाता है, तो आप यहाँ पर भी इसको कंसीडर कर सकते हैं। एंड नेक्स्ट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 3, थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट नेचर का बट फिर भी हमने इसी में डाला। what would be the major methodological orientation for doing research in फिजियोलॉजिकल साइकोलॉजी, सोशल साइकोलॉजी, काउंसलिंग साइकोलॉजी एक्सेट्रा। तो इसको हम लोग चाहें तो अदर मींस साइकोलॉजी एंड रिलेटेड ब्रांच में भी डाल सकते हैं, बट यहाँ रिसर्च भी है तो पेपर 2 में भी डाल सकते हैं। तो इस पे स्टार बना दो, इसको मेक ए स्टार। ये क्वेश्चंस अलग नेचर का है, इस अप्रोच से थोड़ा अलग। खैर नेक्स्ट इज व्हिच मॉडल, क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, which model of man is most suited and relevant to behavior modification? Means हमारे पास behavior modification के बहुत सारे मॉडल हैं, like structuralism, functionalism, behavioralism. So which model is most suited and most applicable that you can also यहाँ पर इसको mention कर सकते हैं। Instead of that, yeah, instead of that, that is question number 6 is there. Question number 5, give an evaluative account of behavioralistic, psychoanalytic, humanistic perspective of psychology. That is आगे वहां सीट रखी होगी ऐसे 2 पेज की, इनको ला करके देखो, राइट। सो अभी भी समझ में आ गया क्वेश्चन किस टाइप का आ रहा है। यहाँ पर क्वेश्चन क्या है? इवैल्यूएट्स, नो गिव, हाँ इवैल्यूएट करना है। सो अंडरलाइन द वर्ड्स इवैल्यूएट्स, है ना। और ऐसे ही आगे ऊपर क्या वर्ड था? एक्सप्लेन। एंड थर्ड इज एक में आया व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय एसओआर पैराडिज्म। एंड क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 नाउ रीड, हाउ did structuralism contribute in the development of psychology as a discipline? Question number 6. Question number, okay, just wait. हाँ तो मैंने 7 पढ़ दिया। खैर क्वेश्चन नंबर 6 देखें। Cognitive psychologists often use computer as an analogy to explain the relation between cognitions and brain. Means cognitive psychology के जो क्वेश्चंस हैं ये भी 3 क्वेश्चन आ गए cognitive psychology को। And क्वेश्चन नंबर 7, हाउ डिड स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म कंट्रीब्यूट, जिसको मैंने पहले पढ़ दिया था. सो हाउ डिड स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म कंट्रीब्यूट टू द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ साइकोलॉजी एज अ डिसिप्लिन. तो स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म से कह सकते हो कि ये पहला क्वेश्चन है, राइट. देन क्वेश्चन नंबर 8, द हिस्ट्री ऑफ साइकोलॉजी शोज mind body approach as one of the popular way of explaining human behavior. Discuss how this is being revisited in modern psychology. So here is again body and mind relations uh, is one of the popular concepts in the approaches. but ये क्वेश्चन भी थोड़ा सा शिफ्ट कर सकते हो. इसको डाल सकते हो आप 21st सेंचुरी में. साइकोलॉजी इन 21st सेंचुरी means how the psychology's nature has changed in 21st century. Then question number 9, critically evaluate cognitive approach to the study of psychological phenomena. So अभी तक कितने क्वेश्चन आ गए इसके? 4 क्वेश्चन. There are the 4 questions they have directly asked from the cognitive approaches. Then psychology is a scientific study of behavior. Explain. तो behavioralism के ऊपर 2 बार क्वेश्चन हो गया. Then discuss the mechanistic model of man is an oversimplification of the facts of behavior. Examine the concept of integral model with the view of. देखो mechanistic model basically it is considered as cognitive psychology. Cognitive psychology को ही mechanistic model भी कहा जाता है. So you can say again the same question has been asked by them, but the nature of question is again different. Then artifacts of the behaviorism was built on the loopholes of the teleological approach in psychoanalytics. Means behaviorism की कमियों के ऊपर ही psychoanalytic develop हुआ है. This is again very fruitful question. So after reading of all these questions, I think you have well generalized the most of questions in approaches of psychology they have asked from the cognitivism. Because cognitive psychology they cannot ask any other segment. Like humanistic psychology they can ask into motivation, they can ask into the psychotherapy, even they can questions or they can also question from the psychopathology, because there is a CCT therapy etc. But gestaltists they can also ask into perception. Gestaltism is well explained into perception. Psychoanalytic well explained into personality psychology. So that cognitive psychology is means in the topic of cognitive psychology they have opportunity to ask mainly into introduction, even though they have done. So right now what is the most important from this segment? First of all you must जनरलाइज. अच्छा एक तो कोशिश समझ में आ गई, और भी कोशिश रीड कर लेते हैं क्योंकि मल्टीपल रीडिंग्स गिव यू मल्टीपल आइडियाज. तो फर्स्ट सेगमेंट के सारे क्वेश्चंस हमने रीड कर लिए. ठीक, वी हैव रेड ऑल द क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट सेगमेंट. इवन तो इसकी राइटिंग भी कर लेते तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, राइट. इसको लिखना कैसे चाहिए, राइट. First of all you must have a compact notes related to approaches of psychology. Even though I have supplied to some students my notes also, maybe that notes fruitful for the writing of answer. Like the first question, cognitive psychology is scientific study of cognition that explain how mental processes are organized and function. So first of all यहाँ पर एक बताना पड़ेगा, you must tell what is cognitive psychology, right? What is cognitive psychology, right? Cognitive psychology means study. अब इसकी जवाब इसमें कहीं कहीं ये भी होंगे. Like question number 60, cognitive psychology often used as computer, right? तो एक सेंटेंस पहला लिख सकते हैं, what is cognitive psychology? Cognitive psychology means study about human cognition. Cognitive psychology means study about human cognition, like computers, which follow the information processing model. Computer is basically based on information processing model. So I have used basically three terminology. First, that it is information processing model, and it is study cognitions, and it follow SOR paradigm. Means you can use that. Cognition, cognitive psychology uses which concepts? SOR. Means cognitive psychology believe the information, the stimulus that which we are receiving, that stimulus will received by organisms, and organisms will produce response. Stimulus received by organisms, and organism will again produce response, but this organism have a processing system. This organism have what? Processing system. That processing system is considered as a mind. Means if any media person is saying that communal violence is good, any human being is listening this news, that human will definitely process this information and definitely raise question in his mind or her mind, is communal violence is good or not. If his mind is again producing some solution, maybe good or bad, as per their productions, that man will respond. So it is basically based on inputs, because computer is based on inputs. Then there is what? Processing, and then next is outputs. That is again computer model. Input, processing, and output. And this phenomena works basically not only to one cognition. This phenomena works with our memory. As per our data inputs in the memory, our memory will process, and then finally it will produce some results. Similarly, this input-output process will function into motivation. What type of inputs you are applying? Like if your inputs is achievement motivation is high, definitely your body and mind will process that achievement data, and achievement data will definitely produce behavior which helps to get a good success in your academics and other field. Then next is perception. Perception basically defined and decided by inputs, processing, and outputs. Other is thinking, problem solving. Means our thinking basically decided by our inputs. What types of thinking has been put by your teachers in your minds? Your mind will process, like am I your teacher, I am putting some data in your minds. Your mind is definitely processing that data, and then after that your mind will produce some response. That response you will write in your answer form. Getting or not? तो ये एक ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस है, और एक सिस्टम में चलता है SOR. Then there is a concept formation. Concept depend basically input, processing, and outputs. And intelligence is basically depending on input, processing, and outputs. So these cognitive mechanisms you can elaborate here, because here is mentioned. Explain how mental processes are organized. Our mental processes are organized in the form of inputs, processing, and then problems. So these things you can mention in your answer. Next is getting my friends. So able to write after explaining of these things, right? What you will do? You will summarize that, conclude them, because this question is open-ended question. Explanation, if they were asking, definitely you can summarize them. So conclusion is very important. So what vocabulary you must write? इसमें क्या क्या होना जरूरी है? First, what is cognition? Second is you must use this terminology: information processing approach, SOR paradigms, computer model, and these things: intelligence, learning, thinking, problem solving, etc., etc. So that will be sufficient to write your answer. Second part, definitely, I think by this concept you can answer. What do you mean by SOR paradigm? SOR paradigm, again you can write the same things. It is basically considered cognitive approach, right? In this approach, any organisms will take informations or take any stimulus. After that processing of the stimulus, living beings will produce any response, right? Example: intelligence is a product of SOR. If our mind is not functioning like SOR, so our mind cannot produce any intelligence. So that some psychologists said that, well, intelligence is a basically acquired process, and some psychologists believe intelligence is a inborn process. SOR paradigm clearly mentioned that it is acquired process. The nature of intelligence you are acquiring, definitely that will be the source of development of your intelligence. Getting? So you can mention that well. Then question number.
Sir, what should we write in the conclusion?
SOR paradigm. In the conclusion of SOR paradigm, you can mention that it is the one of the model which comes after the 1960s and become most popular till now. The most popular approach is right now cognitive approach. Getting? SOR comes after 1960. Reason why? Because IT revolutions has taken place. If somebody will ask, what are the criticisms of that cognitive approach? Because cognitive approach has compared human mind as a computer. But reality is this: computer is very small thing for the human mind. Is it true or false?
Yes.
Because computer memory is limited, but the human memories we don't have till now how much terabyte is the human memories. Some psychologists clearly mention that human can preserve all the information of the world only one corner of the brain, one corner of the mind. So human cognition is infinite, but cognitive psychologists used that molecular approach. Molecular means they breaks human behavior into parts. Like they breaks cognition into parts. Like thinking have parts, memory have parts, problem solving have parts. So this was the one of the biggest concept of cognitive psychologist. Another, cognitive psychologist always done experimentations. Cognitive psychology, why become popular and very spread area of psychology? Because they used observation method, survey method, experimentation method, case study method, lot. Example, HM case study, we study brain. So case study and brain means memory. Memory is topic of cognitive psychology, right? Another is they used experiment method. Like Bradley got Badley has done experiment on working memory. So experiment means cognitive psychologist has used wide range of research method for the development of cognitive psychology. Even though psychoanalytic used only one method, that was case studies. Behaviorists use only control experiment method. Structuralists use only introspection method. Getting? But they have used wide range of method. Resulted being that resulted that covers a lot of topics that has given a lot of results. Getting? So this was question that how you can write. तो कंक्लूजन क्या लिखना कि 1960s में आया एंड इट बिकम वेरी पॉपुलर एंड टिल नाउ बहुत पॉपुलर है एंड विच इज वन ऑफ द इजी वे टू अंडरस्टैंड ह्यूमन ब्रेन या ह्यूमन मेंटल प्रोसेस. सबसे अच्छा मेंटल प्रोसेस तो यही समझाता है विद प्रूफ विद एविडेंस. हाँ हो गया. क्या बोला? हाँ हाँ कोई ऑप्शन तो है. कार्ड ले जाओ या फिर रहने दो कल करवा. ठीक है. Okay, so that's so that question number 6 is there. Not 6. Cognitive psychologists often use computer as analogy. Why? Like, cognitive psychologists such as there was a great man. I hope you have heard. That is Ebbinghaus. Ebbinghaus was one of the very popular cognitive psychologists. Miller and Dollard. Miller has given magical number 7 plus minus 2. Got it or not? So Ebbinghaus has used one of the concepts, that is encoding. Encoding in the memory means memory will first encode any information, then memory will basically what that is after the encoding, then that will be storage, and that storage, after the storage, that will produce what encoding, storage, and then that is retrievals. So that is retrievals. Getting? So encoding is similar to what inputs, and inputs is there, and processing is similar to the storage, and then output is similar to the retrievals. Output is similar to the retrievals. So definitely, miss, if they were saying, if they were asking, cognitive psychologists often use computer as analogy to explain the relation between cognitions and brain. Exactly true. So you can mention the computer model is this, and cognitive psychologist has used this model. By this model, they try to explain the human brain. Even they used SOR paradigms also to explain the human behavior. तो ये भी तीन टर्मिनोलॉजी को कनेक्ट कर दो. और इसी कोशिश में अगला पार्ट इसी में है कि रिलेशन बिटवीन कॉग्निशंस एंड ब्रेन. So according to him, human brain is like a computer. As we put the data in our mind, as I mentioned, if we are putting communal data in our brain, so definitely our brain will process that data and produce such mental process and behavior which may be favorable or against of the communal behavior. Got it? So you can mention that. But ये चीजें अगर मैं आप आंसर में नहीं लिखोगे तो मैं कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाऊंगा. मैं ऐसी चीजों को बहुत ढूंढता हूँ. आप सीधा नहीं लिख रहे, जो क्वेश्चन एग्जैक्टली पूछना है उसको लिखो.
So like how should we start with this question?
Almost here is start एक लिख सकते हो. Cognitive psychology is also called information processing model, which comes after 1960s. Mainly, Ebbinghaus has given the concept of encoding, storage and retrievals. Concept of encoding, storage and retrieval, which is similar to computer model of inputs, storage and for better representations you can put into the box. And if you will present any diagram into box, your word limit will not count. You have any idea? No idea. मैं फिर से बोलूं, if you will put any things into the diagram or the box, that will not counted into your word limit.
So mostly diagrams are in the body now. So how can you put it in the introduction?
While you will go for the training in Labasana, and at that time your expert will definitely explain you कि आप कोई भी डायग्राम बनाओ तो बॉक्स चारों तरफ जरूर खींच दें.
That was not my question. My question is that if usually the diagrams now we mention the body part, not in the introduction part.
हाँ तो that we are talking body. अच्छा, okay. Introduction part is just if you are writing 2 or 3 sentences, that is sufficient for the 10 marks, because this question is has asked in only 10 marks. So 3 sentences are sufficient. 3 sentences means equal to almost 30 words. 10 sentence, 10 words in each sentence, right? So 30 words automatically 30 to 25 definitely will produce. So what you will like? First, that cognitive psychology is also called information processing model. Will stop. This model becomes very popular in 1960s after the works of Ebbinghaus, that was mainly encoding, processing and outputs. ये बातें लिखो, ठीक है. आप यहाँ पर छोड़ो. अब आप अपना लिखना शुरू कर सकते हो. Cognitive psychology have several components like this, and it is similar to the computer model because अब यहाँ पर ये चीजें डाल देना जो आपने डायग्राम में मैंने ऊपर बनाया. Right? So you can mention. Then अब इसी को elaborate कर दो नीचे. Elaborate कर दो by giving example. Like suppose we take a example just you can take any child psychology को ले लो. या मीडिया का example is the best and very popular example. What type of informations or news we are watching, that informations encoded by our brain. Brain will store that encoded information to our minds, and mind will produce that behaviors related to that informations which we have encoded through the news. तो एग्जाम्पल कम्युनल वायलेंस का डेटा हमारे माइंड में गया तो कम्युनल वायलेंस ही प्रोड्यूस होगा। सरल भाषा में कहते हैं ना, कहते हैं कि जो अगर आपने खेत में चने को बोया है तो गेहूं थोड़ी ना काट सकते हो। यदि means if you have sown gram is chana, like in your field you cannot cultivate weeds, get it? वेरी सिंपल कि आप जो चीज बोगे वही तो काटोगे। तो हमारे माइंड में जिस तरह का डेटा जाएगा, इनपुट्स होगा, उसी तरह का स्टोरेज बनेगा, उसी तरह का आउटपुट्स आएगा। नेक्स्ट पार्ट, नेक्स्ट इज critically evaluate the cognitive approach to study the psychological phenomena. Critically evaluate. Critically evaluate means definitely first of all you need to explain what is आंसर ऐसे बनाना, और एक टास्क कर लो कि हर आंसर का फ्रेम बनाते चलो if it is suitable for you. Like if you have a 2-page Husband writes, first part is definitely you need to what is cognitive approach. Cognitive approach. Again, very blah blah like that. It is also called information processing model, etc., etc. But your major post. So write. Suppose this is your page. So definitely at least till half page. You write what is psychology. There is you can mention memory, thinking, problem solving, concept formation, intelligence, perception, learning.
The previous diagram.
Previous diagram. After completing 1.5 page, means half page, you can directly mention critical evaluation. Critical evaluation. Critical evaluation. What is critical evaluation? Critically what? एक लाइन तो मैंने बोल दिया था कि cognitive psychologist has underestimated the human brain because when they compare to computer. Getting? So this is the first criticism. You will write. Second criticisms. Cognitive psychology is not a cognitive psychology has selected or have taken a lot of dimension of psychology. Yeah, means it has selected a wide range of topics in psychology, but the explanation of that topics are not satisfactory. Example, memory also, it is right now under the research. Next, next is what? Cognitive psychology has adopted wide range of method right? Like like case study, experiment method, observation method, but its data is not fully objective. Yeah, its method was not fully objective. So हमने criticize कर दिया. So right, Rahul, when they were asking about criticize, so criticism means you are not telling only that negative dimensions. Definitely, there may be some positive, might be some positive, but by the positive, then evaluate, because he is asking critically evaluate. Getting critical evaluations means you are right. Next, third, so you can go ahead. अब मैं सारा नहीं बताऊंगा. So remaining is to write
Ideally, how many points should we write?
at least 5 to 7, because your main question is critical evaluation. So at least 5 to 7 points, like 2 or 3 points right here, 4 or 5 points will be there, right? 2 pages are less than 2 pages, right? Because in some question very difficult to produce 2 pages, and if it is 10 marker question, and if you are writing less than 2 pages, 2 page means here and front and back, and just you have completed this portion, but you have written more than half of from the second part back side. In that case, it is good. But if you are writing less than half, examiner will doubt on you. So this is okay. Clear?
And so, conclusion.
Conclusion. Again, it is one of the वही वाला कि ये बाद में आया, बहुत पॉपुलर था, and यहाँ लिखा गया था one of the popular approach. यूपीएससी वाले काट भी नहीं सकते because they have asked, they have said that they have mentioned in their questions कि it is one of the popular approach. ठीक है? So next is अब दूसरा बहुत ज्यादा क्वेश्चन किस पे पूछा हुआ, behaviorism, right? So behaviorism question has been asked, question number 5, is it? Question number 5 is there. Give an evaluative account. No.
Sir, we missed actually the question number 11.
Question number
11.
how one question is there. Discuss the views that mechanistic model of man has oversimplified the fact of behavior. Same thing you need to write. No need to write any other things.
And the second part that is written, the examine the concept of
Examine the concept of integral model with the view of present balanced picture. Critically evaluate. Present picture is this key, it is not self-satisfactory. Have you read all these or not? Have you prepared notes?
Yes, sir. I am not able to remember.
You?
I'm not able to remember.
All that.
I want to do it.
So will write tomorrow paper or not?
Interested.
When you will write? So you need to take 1 hour more class, right? At least you write. Because this is actually telling you how much qualitative notes you have prepared. In my classes, I always used to my student to go as per the questions, because question paper clearly reflecting what you should read and what you should write in your notes, rather than the frustration of any teacher. You should write what UPSC required. Ready? Just wait. So, Rahul, just you should check your notes. Here is Niharika sir, how to deal suicidal thoughts, OCD. Niharika, definitely this is a PYQ class, and definitely I have a जो मेरी एक्सपर्टीज है वो क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजी में ही है. So I can give you some uh, uh, way to dealing of that this OCD problem. But right now it is not possible because classes is going for the PYQ. Even though if you want to ask such question, you can note my WhatsApp number, my just calling numbers and contact in the afternoon, and I'll definitely reply to your answer. I will reply your answer, whatever you will ask at that time. But because we are discussing PYQ and many students are sit right now in the classroom, so that very difficult. But shortly, OCD is basically a type of anxiety, and this anxiety is well connected due to the irrational thought, and irrational thoughts. If we will use CBT therapy, what is I'm telling you? CBT. What is the full form of CBT? Cognitive dream therapy. C CBT नहीं बोला मैंने. क्या मैंने बोला? CBT means that man is suffering from suicidal tendency because he have or the she have basically problem of cognition. Cognition means that cognition of the false belief. OCD is just irrational belief ही तो OCD बनाता है. Irrational belief can be corrected by the drilling of that belief. It's a proper session, it's proper system that by that we can eliminate. इसके लिए थेरेपी है CBT थेरेपी. ओसीडी को ट्रीट करने का सबसे आसान तरीका माना जाता है. एंड सुसाइडल टेंडेंसी जहां तक किसमें होता है? सुसाइडल टेंडेंसी मे बी present into the two types of people. First, it may be present into the Thanastos personality. Thanastos and Eros concept given by Sigmund Freud. Thanastos is the person who is pessimistic about their life. They are basically pessimist type of people. They do not have optimism about their life. Even like इस ग्लास में थोड़ा सा पानी है तो ये क्या है मेरा ऑप्टिमिज्म. ग्लास में पानी है ही नहीं, बिल्कुल थोड़ा सा है, खाली ग्लास, तो ये क्या है मेरा पेसिमिज्म. So in the everyone life, optimism and pessimism decided by their resources evaluation. Okay, so right here is we will going to deal question number question number 10. Psychology scientific study of behavior. ये तो definition से ही है. Psychology scientific study of behavior. How? ये मेरी पहले लेक्चर से ही बच्चा जवाब दे सकता है. And right now my first lecture is on the YouTube. So you can go by that. Even while we have scientific study of behavior, because some psychologists, most of the psychologists define psychology is a study of mental process and behavior. Ready? So mental process means those processes which are not visible directly. Example, learning. My learning is not directly visible. Example, my thinking is not directly visible. My concept is not directly visible. My uh, memory is not directly visible. So all the things, all the mental processes are directly not visible. This mental process is visible into our behavior. And behavior is equal to heredity into environment. Means our behavior is just product of our heredity and environment. Getting? So behavior is the finest product of all our mental process. If your writing is fast, behavior of writing is fast, which is reflecting you have very good vocabulary, you have very good writing speed, you have very good thinking power, you have very good memory processing. That is reflecting only just writing of your answer. Getting? If you are you are reflecting your etiquettes, values, and moral, it is one of the very common behavior, and this is a very easily to understand anyone's behavior. So this is again, जो ये behavior है वो कैसे समझ में आता है? By the again just a product of the all our mental process. Values, morals are the product of all the mental process. Next is there. Here is that we do. One question is, how is tactilism contribute to the development of psychology as a discipline? Very interesting. And in 2022, same question has been asked, but they have added one more words. How tactilism and functionalism has contributed in the development of psychology? 22 वाले क्वेश्चन पेपर में है वो देख लेना था. So how tactilism and functionalism has contributed in the development of psychology? So I'll elaborate how tactilism. This is your answer copy. Like this is your answer copy. I will write. Tactilism. पहले लिख सकते हो. Tactilism is a branch, one of the means it was first branch of this. It was first approach of psychology, which was started by Wilhelm Wundt in Germany 90 जो भी आपने पढ़ा है. So this approach, अब इसकी मीनिंग क्या है? This approach mainly studied the structure of conscious, which is a source to know the human behavior. I'll repeat. The structure of conscious is a source to know the human behavior. Getting my points? If the structure of conscious is very much irrational or illogical, so definitely our psychological process or behavior will be harmful, or you can say illogical or irrational. So this was first पैरा में आप ये लिख सकते हो कि स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म की शुरुआत कब हुई और स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म का मीनिंग क्या है. After writing of this, you should write how to contribute. यहाँ हेडिंग भी बना सकते. how to contribute in the development of psychology. Number one point. You can mention in points. Point number one, you can mention because earlier earlier philosophy and science was existing. No such as psychology like subject was existing, even though Statistics has started one of the independent subject of psychology. Means because they have started independent subjects as a psychology by statistics. First thing. Second is they have selected they have selected to study the structure of conscious. This topic later has modified into several others mean like function of conscious, actions of conscious, then conscious, then a whole conscious, etc., which is used by many approaches. Means the conscious themes which was selected by structuralism was used and studied and developed by many. Many means all approach of psychology. तो इन्होंने जस्ट दे हैव गिवन वो दैट सेरेमनी वो क्या बोलते हैं जो ओलंपिक्स में दिए जाते हैं कौन सी रॉड होती है वो एक होता ना वो लाइक जिसके ऊपर फायर जलता रहता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं मुझे नहीं मालूम मुझे भी नहीं याद आ रहा है तो वो लेके घूमते रहते हैं हैव यू सीन एंड रिले रेस यू हैव सीन so the relay that relay or they can say candle the candle which was given by Stackley has been succeeded by the other school of psychology. Second, Stacklist has used a method which was called introspection. This method was later utilized by many other approach of psychologists. So this was the another success of this approach. ये उनकी दूसरी सफलता. Next. Structuralist has applied their method to understand human behavior. All others discipline also try to understand and develop behavior. So whatever the structuralist themes, structuralist method, structuralist focus has later changed to develop other discipline of psychology. तो वहीं से चेंज होता गया और दूसरे डिसिप्लिन बनते चले. This was one of the biggest achievement of this strategist. Getting? Next is there. I think this is sufficient. And last is concludes. Conclusion is that structuralism was. अच्छा आपको कोई आंसर अगर कहो तो पूरा लिखवा करके ही दिखा देते. Is it required or you will write yourself?
Then we can get some like to be. Then we can put the time.
So that is mentioned in our PYQ book. Even though in this year, like my second edition of this book, which was in market, this one, its second edition, this was first chapter definitely, and in this the first chapter, what I have modified, what I have done, basically I have segregated all questions by all questions topic wise. Right, but in the upcoming I will definitely modify its new version in just month of November. Like this year, I'm late right now. But at that time, तो इसके हर एक type के transfer जरूर लिख के दिखाऊंगा. But it is very difficult to write all answers of the same type. Next is, so how did एक behaviorism overview तो question था ना? हाँ,
The 12th one.
12th one. The edifice of behaviorism was built on the loophole of the teleological approach. Teleological means the previous one,
Previous.
right? So behaviorism, focus of behaviorism was conscious desire, right? So you can mention focus of behaviorism on conscious desire, right? Conscious desire means they focus mainly on conscious thing. Conscious means awareness, and behaviorists mainly focus on environmental determinism. Environmental determinism. They focus on environmental determinism.
So we can quote the Butler experiment.
You can, and they focus on mainly control experiment, right? And control experiment, behaviorist has used comparative psychology.
Sir, rather than writing any points, can we just draw a table like this side we can draw
हाँ
behavior
हाँ हाँ,
and
वो
this
आगे भी
side.
इधर बनाने वाला हूँ मैं. Okay, like there is a behaviorist, so behaviorist focused on this, whereas the psychoanalytic has focused on what? Unconscious. So what was loophole of the behaviorism? They didn't focus on unconscious, and the unconscious loophole was utilized by
Psycho.
psychoanalytic, and they focus on environmental determinisms. But behaviorist psychoanalytic has used which determinism? Biological determinism. We have two determinisms, right? Environmental and biological. So what was the loophole? They didn't use biological determinisms, and even though they completely deny the importance of biology, which was used by psychoanalytic. And what was their contributions? They had done controlled experiment, but they didn't case study. They used animal to study human behavior, but they use not as an animal to use behavior. Even same patient use multiple times to study the behavior, right? And they have focused too much the importance of reinforcement and reward, but these psychologists never focused on rewards and motivation, so that the rewards and motivations are not necessary for the unconscious desire. Fear is fear. If it comes, definitely it will affect you. Got it?
And how should we conclude this?
So that the all behaviorist was one of the earliest approach, just like after the functionalism. Earliest approach, definitely it will have some drawbacks, which was utilized by by the psychoanalytic to develop their approach or to eliminate the problems, eliminates into, yeah, no, eliminates was नहीं बोलेंगे, which was utilized to develop a new branch of psychology by the psychoanalyst.
So can we just write like this, though behavioralistic approach was successful at another time, but the loopholes which were there was covered by the psychoanalyst, which is very helpful for recent and
हाँ सब
on
बिल्कुल, because जिसको उन्होंने नहीं टच किया उसी को उन्होंने आगे डेवलप. Next is evaluative account of behaviorism. I think multiple topics लिखना है, right? Question number 5. Give an evaluative account of behaviorism. You should write all three. Behavioralism, other line, that is psychoanalytic, other is humanistic. Getting? So behaviorism kahan, the criticism, as you can mention at here. Like behaviorist and psychoanalytic and humanistic. Behaviorists focus on conscious,
yes,
and they focus on unconscious. And humanistic has criticized to both. So they focus on self. Means humanistic psychology says that the conscious and unconscious doesn't matter, is this what an individual is focusing. They focus on individual development rather than conscious. Even though they have used one terminology, phenomenology. You have studied phenomenology. Phenomenology. Phenomenology means uniqueness. Each and every one is unique. This is first thing. Behaviorists use case study. Controlled experiment, and they use what? Case study. They use also case study. Getting? And they focus on environmental determinism, they focus on biological determinism, but they focus on free will. Free will what? Have you studied or not? Free will. Free will means human thoughts are not controlled by any conscious or unconscious desire. I repeat, human thoughts cannot be controlled by any conscious or unconscious desire. Even human is situationistic. Nobody knows which thought will arise in a what way. Like nobody know how the thoughts comes and where how the thought comes, or if any thought is coming, that thought is not necessary to come the next time, because each and every time unique thoughts come. ये बोलता है humanistic के लोग. And humanistics are too much against of exploitation of animal. Comparative psychology means why we compare human behavior with animal behavior. Comparative psychology focus on what? Comparative psychology focus on what? Compare of human behavior with animal behavior. Like behaviorist psychologist's name was Pavlov. Pavlov compared the dog's behavior with animal. Other is Skinner compared to the human behavior with the rat. Other was Thorndike compared the cat behavior with animal. Other many more psychologists are there. Those who belong to behaviorists, as compared to human behavior with animal behavior. So humanists are too much against. Only humanists believe that if we want to understand human behavior, we do not need to exploit the any animal. And human behavior's rules are applicable to only human behaviors. Means if we are trying to understand human behavior, so we must do experiment on human rather than animal. Because animal behavior is not suitably applicable to understand human behavior. They were too much against to the comparative psychology. Other humanistic psychologists never accepted reductionist approach. कौन सा approach? सुने कभी आपने? तो नोट्स कैसे बनाए हो? कोई बात नहीं. Reductionism is breaking into the parts. Behaviorist psychologist has break the behavior into parts. Example, Pavlov has break their classical conditioning into 4 parts: law of acquisition, law of discrimination, law of generalization, law of extinct, etc., etc., etc. But the psychologist of humanistic never accept the comparative psychology or never accept the reductionism. They says clearly, if we want to understand human behavior, we first of all give them autonomy to the human. Because humanistics were too much similar to the Buddhism. Buddhism says clearly, Apo Deepo Bhava, which means you are solution of your problem. So similarly, humanistics said that if you want to solution of any problem, that you can identify your problem and you can be only you can only the get you can get solution yourself, no need to anyone else. Others will only help to identify your problems, but the final and best solutions can be chosen by you rather than anyone else. कोई दूसरा हेल्प करने नहीं है. ठीक? तो इनके कंपेयर, सो इनको कंपेयर करो, इवेलुएट करना मीन्स एक की कमी दूसरे के काम आ रही, दूसरे की कमी. और इवन आई यूज्ड टू टीच इन क्लास, behavioralism plus psychoanalysis is equal to humanism. Means behavioralism and psychoanalytics were criticized by humanistic psychology. Humanistic psychology have some key concepts. First key concept is self. Second key concept is uniqueness. Third key concept is need. Humanistic psychologists are one of the two popular psychologists. One is Maslow, other is Rosser. Full name is Paul Rosser. Maslow clearly said, name of psychologist was Abraham Maslow. We have a need hierarchy, and Rosser says we have two types of needs. One is maintenance need, other is enhancement need. We have two needs according to Rosser. Maintenance needs means that needs which is related to our daily life, like eating, washing, cleaning, bathing. These are our maintenance needs. And enhancement need, like you are preparing for a guest. And they have focus on self. They have focus on the one of very interesting phenomena, congruency and incongruency. Studied or not? Reason पढ़ा है कि नहीं पढ़ा है? पढ़ना. So I suggest you, before the solving of all these questions, you should check your notes. Your notes must be up to the question level. Even if it is less than it, so definitely you need to revise your that is notes. यदि तो तब तक समझ में नहीं आएगा जब तक आप ऐसा नहीं करें. Next, second segment is there. Application of psychology in a social problem.
Because the question is for 20 marks, so like in introduction we can just explain about this, in body we can just draw
Yeah.
then how should we conclude in this?
Conclude that each and every approach, her, each and every approach have their importance. They have studied in different time. Like behaviorists studied in 1930. 1930 means at the time of preparation of Second World War, whole Europe was struggling for the weapon. So behaviorism definitely required at that time. And psychoanalytics come into Austria. Australia not, Austria. It was a part of Europe, Austria and Hungary. Because Sigmund Freud belonged to Austria. So Sigmund Freud works mainly based on conventional society. Because conventional society do not permit their kids to communicate with opposite gender, right? It happened. Suppose you are talking to any female or any female is talking to male, definitely their parents will ask them come in house, and remaining they will start to thrashing. तो उसको thrashing भी कर देते ना कई बार. So that was in conventional society. Maybe do next thing. Other things, they stop their education. Oh, acha, you have a chakkar in Delhi language. You have a setting, in other words. है ना? So that parents were very restricted at that time. So Freud said that humans basically repress their desire, especially the desire which is sexual desire. So his theory name was psychosexual theory. Getting? So if you are repressing sexual desire, that will convert it into behavior. Very interesting also. And so that comes in the 1960s. Humanism comes at the time of third world country become independent. Means near to 50. First humanistic psychology started in 1943. Means Maslow's first book, Human Need Hierarchy, that published in 1943. So at that time, 1943, whole world was near to independent, especially third world countries near to, including India. At that time, Mahatma Gandhi has stopped the Quit India movement. No, Quit India movement to 1942. So means at that time, hunger was one of the key issue of the world. So they focus on need, and that Maslow and Rogers clearly mentioned no country can help you. Even you are the solution of your problem, right? So तीनों अलग अलग टाइम में आए, and each and every school have their importance because they these each school have their some productivity in at that time, at their time. तो उसके समय के हिसाब से इसकी प्रोडक्टिविटी भी गेटिंग. सो आगे गेटिंग. सो लिखिएगा, एक दो लिखिएगा, फिर दिखाएंगे, मुझे पता चलेगा कि गलती कहाँ हो रही है. While you will write, then you will फिर तक समझ में नहीं आता. Next is application of psychology portion.
Question number 3.
It is not as I mentioned, इसको हम कहीं और कर सकते हैं. दो क्वेश्चन इसमें है. So application of psychology to social problem. ये यूपीएससी का ओरिजिनल सिलेबस में लिखा, the last part. Original syllabus I have also mentioned on the above of this sheet. Application of psychology to social problem. So UPSC has asked several questions on this topic, approximately 10 questions. Read one by one all 10 questions. Examine the scope of application of psychology in different fields. Give suitable example. Getting? Next. In the present modern age, there is a wide range of application of psychology, and consequently the present status of psychology is an expert of knowledge. Discuss this statement in the light of your point of view. Means psychology can apply a lot of poverty. And third question, poverty and level of economic achievement as social problem can be explained from the psychological perspective? Question mark. And comment with the relevant research history. Definitely we can understand. Next, what psychological techniques can be used to enhance cleanliness in public places? Again, how can psychologists contribute to the society during the COVID-19? Describe how you use psychology to solve social problems. Question, explain how fundamental understanding of psychology is helpful in the resolution of societal problems. Describe the application of psychology. Describe the application of psychological principle in managing the drug abuse in adolescents in 2021 में. Keeping in the view the strip in current social situation, discuss how a psychologist can contribute toward the providing intervention for such problems. So questions almost you have read, है ना? So you should again check your level of notes. You should check. इन सबको इंट्रोड्यूस किया अपने नोट्स में कहीं पर कुछ. Rahul, have you mentioned these things in your notes or not? Or you will write just only the presence of mind?
I will dictate. Then my foundation
Only that things. So have you such portion of notes is there or not?
I want to check.
Should check them. Right? So because this is a way. अगर notes ऐसे नहीं बना है, and I am not giving this question. This is given by UPSC. So I have no authority to change this question. And no, we can change what? Our notes. We can change our preparation strategy. Simple. Getting? So can we do remaining tomorrow?
Tomorrow's test.
हाँ, tomorrow बाद में लिखो टेस्ट. अगर अभी नहीं prepare है तो बाद में करो. Initially, while you prepare the units, then you should write the test. Then there is importance and there is benefit. If you haven't if you haven't complete understanding over the previous year question, how you can handle the. This is my question. Just I suggestion to you. Or you should write. Right now you have PYQs with topic wise, and you should improve your notes. Right? Even तब मजा आएगा आपको करने में. Otherwise, ये फिर फायदा क्या? Because teachers are very smart. Even I am also teaching, but very smart. Why? Because what teachers know that they try to explain. But UPSC is not asking about what is in teacher mind. UPSC is asking what society required. And you should prepare your subject as per the requirement of the UPSC rather than teacher thought. So thank you for watching me online. So thank you. Release will proceed. I hope I have uploaded all the PYQ of the unit 1. Even though I discussed 10 to 12 questions, in the next class we will complete. So thank you for the class. Thank you so much.